Welcome to another session with Down Under Trading. We'll just jump straight into the charts, I think. So we'll start off with the SPX. Looks like we've had a bit of a bounce for a change, which is good. We've had a number of days down. About 6 days down. The trend has been down over the lower time frames, but obviously, as we know, when you zoom out, the general trend has been up. So this pullback was coming at some point. The problem is if you're sidelined and you're waiting for a pullback from this entire move up, you're like, it's coming, and by the time it does come, it's already well and truly right up there. In all-time highs. It's been in all-time highs since. Let's go to a weekly chart. Been in all-time highs since 4,800. This could be an area that we start coming back down to test the all-time high. When it did break out, it went untested mostly. Like, it has come down a little bit here, but it never came down to the actual level. There could still be a little bit of downside here. The last week's candle was quite bearish, but that was sort of news driven as well with the Iran-Israel geopolitical situation. And we do tend to hear the worst news when at the lows, essentially. So it will be interesting to see how this week does pan out, whether it does continue down, or maybe we get a little bit of a reprieve. And then starting to get towards the end of the month, maybe it might start pulling back a little bit more. Moving into May, we may get a little bit of sideways before we start popping back out over the US summer. So with that in mind, with the SPX having a little bit of a bounce today, it should give a bit of breathing space for Bitcoin. It did have a bit of a recovery. I'll just go into a 1 hour chart. So it has had a recovery since attacking this 5,900, 59,000 level. It's had a bounce up. We're now currently interacting with this 50% level at 66,200, and also the 4 hour high low, which is at 67,000. This is a very key level that we've been talking about in the premium. What happens with this level will have it'll be able to provide us a good idea as to what can happen next. If we get above, is it going to come back down and sort of break these lows, or could it come down and perhaps produce a higher low? Or, if it doesn't manage to get above, which at the moment it looks like it's rejecting a little bit, although it is only a soft rejection. But if it's unable to get above this 67,000 level, are we then going to start breaking down into that 52K to 59K level? So that's sort of what we've been looking at over in the premium. You can see the white squiggly lines over here. That's something that I did post up last week, how I sort of thought the action was going to go. Look, it's a bit of a kindergarten drawing, but for the most part, it has been sort of living up to it. It did break up to here, then it pulled back, and now we've been breaking up again, interacting with that 50% level. It did have a little bit of a pullback, and now it's sort of just hovering above that 50% level. So this 68K level was a high probable rejection zone for me, at least anyway. And if it doesn't and it pushes through, then I think we'd be looking at challenging the all-time highs. So at the moment, we're just sitting back, waiting, watching, seeing what the price action is doing. I might just see who else we've got in here at the moment. Welcome, Muji. Good to see you, dogs. Hey, man. Been a little while. Okay, Starseed. And Baldrick, my man. We might have a look at Nia, because Nia has been forming extremely well. Might go out to a daily chart. Yeah, so I drew this, and sorry, the chart is quite messy, but I'll explain it. I'll explain it out. I did draw this kindergarten line back towards the end of March. It was looking like we made the high here because it came down, made a lower high. I sort of thought, I think it can come down to this very high time frame level down here at $5. It did wick quite a bit below it, but for the most part, it is actually holding up quite well. So what have we got above? This $9.40 is a key level, and we'll see if I can share that. So $9.40 comes back into over here. When you zoom in on these levels on a low time frame, on like the daily, you can see quite clearly that this has been previously support and also resistance. Same as this level here at $11.80. It's another level. You can sort of make it out on the weekly chart. Over here was resistance. And also over here, as it was breaking down, it popped back up, tested it, and was converted to resistance. And then we have the major level up here at $13. For anyone that's been following Nia and uses Fibonacci levels, we understand that the golden pocket or the 618 level is highly reactive, or Nia is highly reactive to it. So I don't expect Nia to get through the $13 mark on the first attempt. Hence why the kindergarten line sort of goes up to that region and then rejects down. So that's where my initial target is for Nia. And it could be over a relatively short to mid-term, like, next couple months type thing. Doesn't have to be, but that's certainly a level that I'll be watching out for. I might even look at selling a little bit at that $13 mark and re-entering at a lower level to lower my DCA. I was a bit late to the game for Nia, so my average isn't the best, but that's fine. I'm quite confident in Nia and where it's going. And then the rest of these levels that we've got, they're just Fibonacci levels. Has been quite a bit of time between that sort of $7.50 and $6 level, which we saw here. At the moment, what we'll be looking for is to start taking out this high at $7.50. And then that would suggest that this here is the swing low at $4.20, and it's probably not going to be reached again. Even at the moment, I'd be pretty skeptical to say that it's going to come down to $4.20 again, even though we haven't broken these highs, just with how it's reacted out of these levels. When you look at Nia against its BTC pair, it's looking extremely well. Also, one of the few coins that is. There's not a lot that look strong against Bitcoin, but Nia is definitely one of them. We might jump in and have a look at Solana. So for some of you, when we were trading up in this level here, you may remember when I drew these lines and showing how it's rejected from the 786. It came up, rejected, came up and failed to get above. And then I thought it was going to come down and test this trend line. About $130. And how this low here was key to get taken out. And it's virtually happened. It did come quite a bit lower, down to almost 110. This is a perps chart, so the spot chart may have only come down to 125 or something like that, because it doesn't show the liquidations on on a spot chart, but it's now holding this trend line, and it has broken down below this trend line before and popped back up. We can see here, we can see over here. But once it does get back above, it typically holds it. If it was to get down further, we don't want to see $80 broken for Solana. Solana is another one that's extremely strong as well against the Bitcoin pair. However, that can start changing if we start losing this level at $80. It's a long way off there, though. It's almost it's a 50% drop to get below $80. But as quick as it does move up, it can fall as well, as we saw. In a matter of 2 weeks or so, went from 200 down to 110. That's nearly a 50% drop just there on its own. But yeah, Solana is looking good. Risk reward long term. Don't think that there's a lot of reward there in comparison to a lot of other alts. But if you're keen on it, getting in down here at the $130 mark, $125 mark, that'd be a pretty good entry to be adding to an already established Solana portfolio. I'll just see if there is any requests. Was there anything you wanted me to have a look at, Baldrick? G'day, Ref Nessa. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, we can have a look at DOT. And in Belgium's requested Ethereum. We can look at that as well. I'll just have a look at in the DOT Bitcoin chart. We'll just have a quick look at that, and I'll go back to the USD chart. So this is not a good looking chart for DOT. We've actually just made an all-time low on the DOT Bitcoin chart, and as we can see from the bull market, the last bull market, it's just been in one direction, and that's down. It doesn't mean that it can't come back up. I mean, if it was going to, over here would have been nice, and it did have a bounce because that was almost a double bottom with its when it launched the dot Bitcoin pair on Bybit on Binance, sorry. But now that it's broken down from that and putting in another lower low, it's just another sign of weakness. It doesn't mean it's not going to go up. It definitely is probably going to go up, but it's just probably going to be weak in its move up. In comparison to a lot of other, not a lot, in comparison to some other alts that are out there. And I can show you what a good chart looks like. Maybe I might jump into the near Bitcoin chart. But first, I'll just show the USDT chart. What I was saying was over here on its run up, high. That's your swing low, high, and we've broken below that swing low. It's not the end of the world, but it's not great either. The last thing we want to see is closes below this level. We start getting closes below $6, then it's really in bad shape. But this is a warning sign that there could be weakness moving forward for DOT. Ideally, we would have seen a higher low. If it stopped somewhere around the $7 level or something to that effect. But yeah, it didn't. It went lower, creating a lower low. I'll just show you what a good alt Bitcoin chart looks like. So this is near. We've got the low from last year in October. It's come up, made a high, came down, made a swing low, which is a high low, high, came down, looking to be, this is a high low. It's not confirmed yet, for that to be confirmed as a high low, price really needs to get up and make another higher high. But it looks like that it's sort of on the right path. It's had a nice spring out. So that is what a good Bitcoin chart looks like. Another one we can jump in and have a look at. We'll look at Solana. So we've got a similar trend here. We've popped up, we've broken out of our accumulation phase. This is only a very small one here. Made our high, pullback, high, low, pushed out of that range, high, low, high, looking to be like a higher low. And that'll be confirmed once it breaks up to another higher high. So that's another bullish chart rather than the all down charts. And we had Ethereum as another one. Actually, I think I've got an Ethereum chart in here. Yes, I do. Clean that up a little bit. All right. Let me just see where I've drawn this one from. So this 50% level here at 27.86 is drawn from the swing low. Let's go out to weekly. The last time that we put in a swing low on Ethereum down here at the $1,500 level up to the recent high, and the retrace hit that 50% level right on the button before it had a bit of a bounce. It's actually very bullish for Ethereum. I know that against Bitcoin, it's put in a lower low, which isn't great, but I am looking for Ethereum to start producing in the second half of the year, particularly over the US summer. So this is a good bounce level for it to start doing that, I think. I would be surprised if it got back below 2,800. That would probably really require Bitcoin to fall back below 60K and start trading in that 52 to 59K region. If we did do that, then sorry, it's been a little while since I've been in this chart. Let's try to clean it up a little bit. If Bitcoin did fall into that range, then our next 50% level sits at around 2,500. And that's from the low of the bear cycle to the high. We want to maintain above that level. It can wick below, but it can't get significant closes below. When I say a significant close, that's like a weekly close or a monthly close. We definitely don't want to see those weekly closes below this level. But there's a bit of resistance before it gets to there, in that being the recent, I've gotten rid of it now, that level at 2,800, where it has had nice bounces off consecutively. So for Ethereum, it is looking good. Ethereum isn't really one that I hold, but if you're coming into the game a bit late and you're looking to put some money into it, Ethereum is probably a good spot to start looking at. The reason being is the Bitcoin dominance is starting to tap out a bit now. It's definitely still in an uptrend. It's not breaking down, but it's definitely hit some key levels that I've been talking about for a number of months now. So, yeah, I think the trend for the dominance is numbered, and we're definitely in the back end of that play for now. I want to see if Baldrick has got any comments, or I did want to go over Sweat, but I think I might save that one for tomorrow. We've got a premium catch up tomorrow. I've been talking a fair bit about that over in those channels, so I might save that one for tomorrow. Gonna have a look actually at FTSE. I think it's made an all-time high. Yep, it sure has. So over in the UK, congratulations, made a new all-time high. Yeah, just goes to show that even when there is war going on in the world and there's so much fear, that there is nations out there and leading nations out there that are still sort of disregarding the news in the stock markets and producing all-time highs. So we've got the UK markets up there. I think from my list, it only leaves the Chinese markets from making an all-time high, which they're a long way off doing that. We'll just have a little bit of a look at how far they actually are. I might have to go to a monthly chart actually. Yeah, they're a long way off. 34,000 points. It's a 2x from where it is at the moment. But I will say that with the HSI, with the Chinese markets, is increasingly looking like that this could be a bit of a double bottom here. When we zoom in on a daily chart, breaking above this high here was going to be the first sort of telling sign, because that was when it's come down, it's put in a low, popped up, put in a lower high, broken down for another lower low. Now we've come up and we've just sort of gotten above it. We haven't had any closes above the level, although we've been extremely close. But it wouldn't take much. It really wouldn't. So I'm starting to think that the Chinese markets could be looking to change their trend and join the rest of the world in the everything bull market. So and when the Chinese markets kept moving, they really rocket. They're almost like a hybrid between crypto and the traditional stocks. Yeah, they can get massive swings, 3-4% in a day for consecutive days in both directions, which you really don't see that sort of volatility in like the SPX or the FTSE or even over here in Australia and in our local stock markets as well. A bit of the Wild West over there. I think with that, I might draw us to a close for today, guys. I do have a premium call tomorrow with the guys, so I want to save some alpha for them and a bit more detail. But yeah, thanks for jumping in, and we'll catch you next time. Hopefully, Simon's feeling a bit better and he can join in too. Always enjoy going back and forth with Simon. So yeah, till next time, take care, and yeah, catch you then.